so glad to be back with you again. Today I have a special book to read to you. It's a book I have been wanting to read to you all year long. So at last, I get to share a very fun book about punctuation. It's called Punctuation Takes a Vacation. And if you look real closely, you can see that punctuation marks are on this plane and they're ready to take off for somewhere. Let's read to find out. Punctuation Takes a Vacation. It's by Robin Pelver and it's illustrated by Lynn Rowe Reed. Here we go. Day after day, the punctuation marks showed up in Mr. Wright's classroom. Day after day, they did their jobs. They put up with being erased and replaced and corrected and ignored and moved around. Then, on the hottest, stickiest day the class had ever seen, right in the middle of a lesson about commas, Mr. Wright mopped his forehead and said, let's give punctuation a vacation. All the kids cheered and headed for the playground to cool off. The punctuation marks stared at one another in disbelief. They'd never seen anything like this before. Wondering what is going on. Is this the thanks we get? Asked a question mark. Well, huffed an exclamation point. Now, said a comma. We should take a vacation, said a period. They'll soon learn how much they need us. It's 11 o'clock now, said a colon. Let's leave at 11:02. Great, said an exclamation point. Don't leave without us, yelled the apostrophes. Whoosh, punctuation rushed out the door. Whoosh, they rushed back in to grab the quotation marks, who were too busy talking to pay attention. Here they are over here. Yuckity yuck and blah, blah, blah. We had some good friends that they came back to get them, didn't they? Mr. Wright's class returned from the playground, and they couldn't wait to find out what happened in Chapter 4 of their book, Ace Scooper, Dog Detective. Mr. Wright opened his mouth to read aloud, but then he stopped and stared. No punctuation. This is weird. The punctuation is missing. Where could it be? Yikes, maybe punctuation took a vacation. We are in big trouble now. Sounds a little bit different, doesn't it? Without having that punctuation to help us to know how to read that. Mr. Wright was right. Nothing made sense without punctuation. A couple of days later, the school secretary delivered a small bundle of postcards to Mr. Wright's class. They were postmarked, "Take a lake break." I wonder if that's where they went. Take a break lake. Sounds like a great place to go. Mr. Wright's class, hometown, USA, 46738. That's who the postcard was to, Mr. Wright's class. Do you miss us? How much? Why couldn't we take a vacation sooner? Guess who? If you guessed the question mark, you are right. Here's another one. We flop, we plop, we stop. We stay put in our lounge chairs. We are happy thinking our complete thoughts. Thoughtfully yours. Sentence stoppers. You guessed periods. I think you're right. Here we go. Dear friends, swimming, sailing, sunning, soaring, water skiing. Next time we must remember bug spray, toothpaste, flashlight, water shoes. Sincerely, list makers. List makers. What could that be? If you're thinking commas, I think you're right. Greetings to Mr. Wright's class. The postcard doesn't take the place of a letter. If anybody takes place of a letter, that's us. It's our job. We know we're possessive, but that's the way we are. Don't forget us while we're gone. Substitutes. Apostrophes, right? Apostrophes take the place of letters in words, like in contractions, right? They also show ownership, or they're possessives, right? Apostrophe S shows that something belongs to someone else. A big hello from Vacation Paradise, where the water is as clear as a well-punctuated sentence. We talk all day, we talk all night, too busy talking to write anymore. You guessed it, yakety yaks, better known as quotation marks. Kids, writing this on schedule at 1:15. Yummy lunch at 11:55. Going swimming at 3 o'clock sharp. The timekeepers. And we know that that's the colon, right? And we know that that colon separates the hours from the minutes. Very important for us to be able to keep accurate time. Wow, what a ride! You should try tubing. Scary fun, yikes! Hold on! We want more! Sounds kind of emotional. Probably why they signed it, Emotional Us. That would be, right? The exclamation point. There they are, lounging around, having a great time at Break a Leg. The kids guessed who wrote the postcards, and they wanted to write back, but they couldn't write without punctuation. The best they could do was borrow some from Mr. Rongo's class next door, where punctuation seemed to be running wild. Here they are, Mr. Rongo's class. Punctuation's all over the place. Dear punctuation, please come back. We need you. We miss you too. Life at school is difficult without you. We can't do reading, writing, or riddles without punctuation. Chapter 4 of our book, A Scooper. Doesn't make sense. We will never again. Won't you please come back before 10:00 on Friday? Mr. Wright says punctuation. Please come home sincerely, Mr. Wright's class. There it is. That's the cover of it. I must be putting it in this envelope, and it looks like it's very urgent. It says, punctuation, take a break, lake. Urgent, hurry. Look at the pencil waiting, right? Sharp number 2 pencil with a good eraser. That eraser, though, is making them not feel very appreciated. So I don't know about that. So the punctuation marks returned to Mr. Wright's classroom to do the job only they could do. Mr. Rongo's unruly punctuation scrambled back to their own classroom. We have so much to tell you. Who did you miss the most? It's good to be back in Mr. Wright's class. Commas, periods, exclamation points, question marks, colons, apostrophes, quotation marks. Take your places. 10 a.m. Time to study us. Hooray for punctuation. The end. But it's not the end for punctuation for us, right? Boys and girls, punctuation is just as important as the words that authors choose. So when you are writing, keep that in mind, especially when you are rereading your writing to make sure that it looks and sounds right. You want to make sure that the punctuation is helping your reader read your story the way you want it to be read. Punctuation is a lot more than just ending marks. It tells the reader how to read your story. So that's pretty important, my friends. Keep that in mind the next time that you are writing. When you're choosing those just right words, remember to also choose those just right punctuation marks. Boys and girls, writers, I hope to see lots of punctuation in your writing. Have a nice writing day.